Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 78 of the first and the only podcast dedicated to all things night vision, thermal imaging, hog and coyote hunting. I am Jason. I'm the owner of Outdoor Legacy. We specialize in night vision and thermal optics. And as always, I've got my trusty sidekick with me tonight, Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel.
Well, what's going on, Jason?
Man, nothing major. I know that you're not very happy right now because, folks, he was just texting me pictures of cell camera pictures that he had hogs sitting at his corn pile, and he's mad.
I hadn't seen pictures of hogs in weeks on camera, and tonight I get a picture of 10 hogs as Jason's setting up to get the podcast show, and I sent him a text and said, "You see what I'm giving up for the show tonight, right?" And,
that's right. He's sacrificing.
He said, you hunt 6 nights of the week, you can take one night off.
That's exactly right.
I'm okay with that. Well, a couple things. You and I were talking the other day. Today I am wearing the long sleeve version of the shirts that Mark from Sweatman's Barbecue sent us. Last week you wore the short sleeve version. I'm wearing the long sleeve version tonight, and man, It is really nice. But I mentioned to you the other day, I said, this is going on our 78th week of the podcast, and you and I have never accidentally worn the same T-shirt on the same night when we're taping a show. It's always been, and if you knew us, our wardrobe, and you can ask our wives, our wardrobe is like 99% Outdoor Legacy T-shirts, except when we go to church. We'll put a button-up shirt, and but it's just shocking to me that we haven't accidentally worn the same shirt on a taping.
It is true, and we do not coordinate what we're going to wear.
All.
So if anybody's curious, we do not, and it is true that both our wives joke about our uniform, and our uniform is a Outdoor Legacy shirt. So
I think my wife has just given up on trying to get me to wear something else. But so I want to wish everybody good luck this weekend here in Texas. I don't know about the rest of the country, but it starts the rifle season for all you deer hunters out there. So good luck. I know all my buddies are I call them the prima donna deer hunters because you got to be quiet, and they say if you're driving down my road and you pass my gate or my property, just go ahead and put it in neutral and just coast all the way down the county road so you don't make too much noise to scare off my deer.
Yeah. They ask you to put on scent control when you drive by.
Exactly. So don't make any extra noise. So I want to wish those people out there, all you men and women and boys and girls out there hunting, hope y'all get a big buck, get a bunch of does. But hey, Jason, have you ever heard of something called hunter harassment?
I have heard of it. I've never experienced it, but I mean, if I'm assuming we're talking about where like anti-hunters go out in the neighboring property and cause a bunch of racket or something.
I did not even know. Maybe I'm just naive, but I had no idea that there was such a thing as hunter harassment.
It's actually against the law in the state of Texas.
I was watching some video I saw online, and a guy's in a deer stand, and you can hear in the background people banging on pots and pans with wooden spoons and screaming and yelling.
Oh my gosh.
And the guy let a few expletives fly when he was yelling at him.
Wow.
But I had no idea that was a thing. And, obviously down here in Texas, haven't dealt with anything like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and get $1,000 in cash. I'm going to go ahead and let you hang on to it. Just put it in your house, hang on to it. Because if that ever happens to me, I'm probably going to go to jail. You're going to have to bail me out.
To bail you out.
Because I might headbutt somebody or something. I don't know. I just can't imagine.
Right.
I didn't know that was a real thing until I saw the videos of it, and I'm just amazed by that.
I admit I've never actually heard of it happening down here. I'm sure that it probably could somewhere, maybe around Austin or something. But I have read online over the years on some of the hunting forums and stuff. I used to when I was younger, be on some of the hunting forums for deer hunting and such. And I've seen some guys up north or around some big cities that have run into this, and it's a pretty big deal. But Texas actually has a law that you cannot harass hunters. And if they can prove that's what you're doing, then they can absolutely ticket you for it. And it's pretty interesting. So I'm glad we've got the law, but I hope we don't need it.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of listeners from California and some good people, a lot of good hunters up there and people that tune in all the time. But for me, for some reason, I picture that happening somewhere in California where people are out there on megaphones trying to scream at the deer to run away so a hunter doesn't shoot them or something. But
there's a video out, and it's been circling, I think, on Facebook and some of the other groups in the last week. I think it was up in Pennsylvania. No. It was on Long Island. And it was a guy sitting in his truck, and he's getting harassed. He was going to go hunt some public property, and it was all legal. And he got out in camo, and a bunch of people came up and harassed him and had a kid cussing him out. It's a pretty unbelievable video.
You did tell me about that. I guess this is the first time I've ever seen somebody in a stand and they can hear people in the background screaming and yelling.
Yeah, that would not do
That's
well.
Crazy,
I could not do that.
Good luck to all you hunters out there. Hope y'all get some. I'm actually going to go out, and I think I'm going to shoot a deer this year with the sight mark Wraith. Yeah.
Well, hey, I tell you what, speaking of that, and some of y'all might have seen one on social media, I actually posted a picture of my daughter and I took her the other day. And, you know, I'll tell you this, I'm a traditional kind of guy, and I really am. I grew up shooting bolt-action rifle deer hunting. That's just, you know, what I think of when I think of deer hunting. And so last year, my daughter was 9, and, you know, she's been shooting, you know, guns her whole life, but not, you know, big rifles. But she said she was ready to kill a deer. I put her on my old 22 250 that I had when I was a kid, and got her out there. She shot it. She did fine on the shooting, but she was just real nervous, and it just the kick, and it was so loud, and I don't know. She never did. She got one deer in front of her, and she got nervous and couldn't pull the trigger, which was fine. That's better than making a bad shot. But it was just the whole setup. Just the stock was a little long for her. Yep. So anyway, this year she was really wearing me out. She wanted to go deer hunting big time. You know, she's a year older, and she's like, I am ready to kill a deer. And so I thought, you know, I'm just going to go non-traditional, at least from, you know, what I grew up with. And I got one of my 300 blackout pistols, you know, on the AR platform, 10.5-inch barrel. I screwed my can on it, and I put the sight mark Wraith. Since you mentioned that, I put the Wraith on there. My thinking is it can video the hunt. You know, it looks good during the day, full color. If we could get the video, if I can remember to press the button, you know, that would be cool. And so I put it on there. I went, took her with me, took about 5 shots, got it zeroed, 50 yards, put her on it, and she just started shooting really, really good with it. And, man, she just loves it. And the suppressor on it helps. I mean, it's not so loud. And I even had her one time, like, stand behind me. And I was like, you know, take your ears off, take the hearing protection out, and I want to shoot this thing so you can see that it's not that loud. And I shot it, and she was like, whoa, that's not bad. So anyway, youth weekend was this weekend in Texas. So we went on Saturday night and Sunday night, and we unfortunately did not get the opportunity to shoot at anything. Saturday, well, we saw a couple of nice young bucks, and then we saw a yearling come in right at the last shooting light, and I was using my thermal, and I could see that the big doe was behind the yearling in the woods, and she just didn't come out until that end of shooting light, and it was just one of those things we just couldn't take the chance on maybe shooting a nubbin buck or something, so we didn't take the shot. Sunday we didn't see anything. I tell you what else we did, though. I took the Convergent caller with us, and as soon as we got in the stand both nights, because we got there early, I set it out and tried to call in some hogs for about 15 minutes. We weren't successful, so I'm convinced that calling hogs doesn't work. So it's fake. It's all fake. It's fake. Last week's episode 77, that was all just a joke.
We've gotten a lot of good feedback from episode 77. A lot of people ordered the Convergent bullet online through outdoorlegacygear.com.
We sold out. We did. I was not expecting that. I didn't order any more or anything. I was like, just had some in the warehouse. My office manager goes, "Hey, we sold out of those." Like, what?
I called, and you know about this story, but I called a hog from the truck on a cold, rainy night. And I told people I do not do rain and cold together. It's kind of a no-go for me at night. So I stuck the Convergent collar right beside the truck, turned it on, rolled the window down in the truck, and called a boar into about 30 yards. Never had to leave the truck. Shot him right out the window.
I tell you what, you're getting lazy in your old age.
Calling
them to the truck. Don't even get out of the truck.
Called another boy in last night that ran off. He spooked when I was actually getting ready to leave, and called him right back in with the collar up to about 25 yards. So, hey, if anybody has, and a lot of people have reached out to me on Instagram or sent me emails. If you have any questions about strategy on how to use it, just let me know, because I've messed with it and used it for 7 months. I feel like right now I've gotten into my groove here in the last couple months. Really, I mean, calling them in and consistently doing it. So just give me a shout and I'll help you out. But
well, man, Dixie Lee and I tried twice in a row, and so it doesn't work. So if it doesn't, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of this hunting trip, there was one thing, and if you saw the pictures, if you happen to see them on Facebook or Instagram where we posted them, Outdoor Legacy, you might have noticed that my daughter was shooting on a tripod, and that's a whole nother story. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later of kind of why and what, but that is what we're going to talk about on this episode. It is the Kopfjäger. It's a Kopfjäger grip and tripod setup, and that's what this show is going to be about. Now, I want to go ahead and preface this with a few things. This is going to be something that a lot of people are going to listen to, and when we start talking about the pricing on this, you're going to say, oh my gosh, this is for rich guys. I'd never spend that much, and that's totally fine. Hans and I have made no secret about it, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, later in the show, that we have for a long time, and still are, been huge fans of the Primo's Gen 3 trigger sticks. They're $100, $130, give or take, and that's something we've used for a long time. We really, really like them. We've talked about them on the show before, but this is something that has been highly requested, is people wanting us to review not only these tripod setups specifically, but just something like this that they can use to hold their rifle. So if you're not familiar, I want to just real quick going to kind of go into what they are. It is a tripod system that you can lock your rifle into, and it will hold your rifle steady. You can let go and walk away, and your rifle holds there. So it gives a really, really good, solid, steady shooting rest. Yep. They're not lightweight. They're not cheap, but they're high end, and they're the real deal.
Yeah, so there's a clear difference between the Primo's trigger sticks that we talk about and promote all the time, which is basically just a rifle rest. It's not a clamp. You may have seen some pictures that I've posted in the past with the Primo's with a clamp on top of it, but that is not advised.
And that doesn't. Hans can attest to this. We locked that onto my trigger stick tripod one day for a picture, and we nearly destroyed them, and the rifle fell over. Remember that out here in my driveway?
Yeah. So, but that's the Primo sticks that we've talked about in the past, and what we're going to talk about today with the Kopfjäger setups. And you know what? Stay tuned, because we're going to be pretty, I'm not going to say brutally honest, but we're going to tell you what the best applications for using the products, and where it's going to kind of fall short and not be a very good help for you. So stay tuned to the end of that. Jason's going to be giving the specs of both and the prices and all that here pretty soon, but we definitely want to go through and let you know, if you're out there looking, because Jason, you and I get questions all the time. Hey, what tripods, what are you using? What's the best? And it just depends on their hunting style and what they're doing.
That's right. And I'm going to say that this is the question that I get asked the most, and it's, how do you say it? And it is Kopfjäger. And in German, I believe it means sniper. That's what I was told. And it's spelled Kopfjager. And it,
don't try to sound
that out. It does not sound like that, but that's what it is, Kopfjäger. And I just call them the Reapers, because they're known for their grip that's called the Reaper grip. Right. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'll be showing these just quickly here. This is the Reaper grip. It looks like two hands that reach up. They are have this rubberized coating on them. You can spin this down and lock it on your rifle, so it will hold any standard rifle. It doesn't have to be an AR-15. You can put it on a bolt action rifle, anything. It just grips down. It does not damage your rifle because they're padded where it grips down. And then you have the ability to spin left and right, up and down, pivot it, any direction that you want. Now that's again called the Reaper Grip. Then there's another one called the Reaper Rail. And what it is, it's just simply the same type of mount. You can do all the spinning, pivoting left, right, up and down, but it has a Picatinny mount on the top. So what you would need at that point is some sort of a Picatinny rail on the bottom of your rifle. That would be easy to do if you've got an AR-15 with a quad rail. You can put a small, pick rail right there and connect it in. It locks in really quick and easy. Now, the thing to note is that is really only for a rifle that has that Picatinny rail on the bottom. So for most bolt action rifles and just general use, it's not going to be as good. That is a very specific use. I do like it. I like the way it locks in. I've got a rifle with the Picatinny rail on the bottom, that little strip that I've put on there. I've tried it. It works great. It looks good. It is quick and easy, but this grip, the Reaper Grip, is definitely the most versatile. It costs the exact same, and you can lock it into any rifle by squeezing it down. So it is by far the most popular and what most people would prefer to go with, just being able to use it for everything. So real quick, I'm going to give you a lot of numbers. If you're really interested in this, I would say grab a piece of paper right now, because you're going to want to write this down, all these, what I'm fixing to give you, because it's a lot to go through.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, just skip forward until you start seeing my lips start moving.
That's exactly right. If you don't want to hear about all the specs, I just hit the 10-second skip about 40 times and you'll be good. Okay, that may be not enough, maybe 50. Okay, so here's what we've got. So as I mentioned, the Reaper Grip, that's the one that clamps down and grips. Then the rail mount is the one that just locks into your rail. I just want to be clear because we're going to start going over this. There are also two different tripod setups. You can get the slick tripod, which that is a high-end professional grade photography tripod. It's all metal and it is heavy duty. It's a really nice tripod, and that's one of the options. The other option is a very nice lightweight carbon fiber tripod. So if you get the metal tripod and the grip, or the metal tripod and the rail, it's the same price. It's $399. That's the full setup. That's everything you need, whether it's the rail or the grip. You get the metal tripod, you lock it in. Now, if you want the lightweight carbon fiber, and again, with the grip or the rail, either one, it's $200 extra. It's $599. And I know a lot of people are just sucking air over here going $600, but we'll get to that in a minute, and you're fixing to see here why you need to consider this. So the carbon fiber tripod weighs 3 pounds and 7 ounces. This is just the tripod by itself. The metal tripod weighs 6 pounds by itself, so almost twice as much. The Reaper Grip weighs 2 pounds and 8 ounces by itself, and the Reaper Rail weighs 2 pounds. So let's put this all back together. If you use the metal tripod and the grip, you have 8 pounds, 8 ounces. If you use the metal tripod and the rail, you have 8 pounds even. Carbon fiber and the grip, you've got 5 pounds, 15 ounces. So just a little 1 ounce shy of 6 pounds. That's the carbon fiber and the grip. Carbon fiber and the rail mount is 5 pounds, 7 ounces. So about 5.5. So now I'm just going to give you a little bit of comparison. If you take the Gen 3 trigger sticks, they weigh, the full setup, they weigh about just a little over 3 pounds, like 3 pounds, 2 ounces. So you're looking at, for the grip and the carbon fiber, Well, almost 3 pounds more, almost twice as much, and that's the lightest option. If you put the grip and the metal tripod, it's about 8 ounces shy of 3 times as much. Mm-hmm. So there's a big weight difference, and I know you're probably going to get tired of us talking about it, but we're going to be talking about the weights a lot on here.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, there's a lot of information there. Man, you got through a lot quicker than I thought you were going to.
Well,
you must have been thirsty and needed to take a drink.
I did, and I had good notes.
There you go. Well, good job. So what I want to get into, because in full disclosure, I've been using the Reaper clamp with the slick
grip.
Yeah, the grip with the slick tripod, which is the heavier metal one. So that's the one that I've been using here recently. Jason's been testing out the carbon fiber ones.
Yeah, I wasn't going to give him a $600 tripod setup. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm teasing,
because
they were actually out of stock at the time. That's why he didn't get it.
I think because I tend to be a little bit rough on some things, especially sticks. I am the worst. I break sticks so much, but I have not broke these, just so you know. But we're going to start out and talk about I think the best applications or the best uses for these for the Kopfjägers with the tripod sticks, and we're going to get to where it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to start off by saying, and I'll start, Jason, and you can kind of follow in and put your 2 cents in. I think what these the Kopfjäger grip with these sticks, and especially I've been using the metal ones, they have been really good for sighting in rifles. I don't know if you use yours to sight in a rifle.
Dixie Lee and I, when we were sighting that rifle in, that's what we used it for. It was awesome.
Yeah, it is great. Every time I've sighted in a rifle, I've done it straight from those sticks. It's heavy, it's heavy duty enough that you can lock your rifle in there. You don't have to worry about it falling over. Mm-hmm. I feel like the movement to me is easy to figure out as far as moving it left to right, up to down, tighten it down. I've not had one concern when I've left my rifle in that grip that it was going to fall. And I've shoot anywhere from a 308 to a 6.5 Grendel to a 6.5 Creedmoor. I shoot all calibers and some heavy rifles, and I've never had one concern locking it in, especially to sight in a rifle. So I think for that application, I think it's worked out even better than bringing the shooting sled and setting all that up on a table. Man, you just put that in there and sight in your rifle real quick. Makes it easy.
I'm telling you, that's something I didn't consider. I mean, I really didn't until I took the other day and took Dixie Lee with me, and we went and used that. We were in the woods because I've got a big shooting bench, and it's really nice, and it's all set up. But where it's set up, we had had some horses and some cows pinned up down there, and I didn't want to be shooting so close to them, so it wasn't a real option. We just took off down the woods and went down a log road as we could get a good 50-yard shot. And it was super easy. In the past, if we'd have done that, we'd have had to take it to the shooting table, set the sandbags up. This worked great. And it worked good enough for a 10-year-old little girl. So I was very impressed with that.
The different heights that you can make it. I'm a pretty tall guy. Is
this the time for me to say I'm a pretty short guy?
We were talking about your daughter. So, but I'm able to raise it up so high that it's even too tall for me. Or if I want to sit down and sight in my rifle and sit on a bench, I can lower it down low enough where I can still use it. So I think for sighting in a rifle, that is not an application that I thought I was going to use it for, but now that's the only thing I sight in a rifle now is on the Kopfjäger grip and the slick sticks. Also, a good application. I do, as we've talked about a lot. I do a lot of hog calling. I drive out to a spot. I will, set my collar right there by the mule, turn it on. I take those sticks right out of the bed of the mule, set them up right by, like I did last night, set them up right by my mule, and I can lock my rifle in there because what what I like to do is I like to lock my rifle into the grip and leave the scope turned on, but I like to scan with my binocular because I can scan faster and I can cover more area with my handheld while that's the rifle's in the grip, ready to shoot. All I got to do is, throw that binocular down, get on the rifle and take a shot. So I lock it in there. I'll call for hogs. I'll call for coyotes, leave the rifle locked in there, and I'll scan with the handheld while I'm calling. And it's a quick transition over from scanning to shooting with that thing locked in there, ready to go and ready to shoot.
Well, one thing that, I didn't plan on doing, but the second night we hunted, rather than hunting in one of our, box blinds, our stands, we took a pop-up blind down in the woods to a place we had and set it up. And obviously you got to have some kind of a rest. If it was me, I could just use a monopod, a bipod, something easy and throw it up. But with my daughter, can't really do that. So I took this thing and I took it down there, and again, she's a little girl sitting in fold up, bag chairs, lawn chairs. Took that thing and got it down short enough, locked it in for her. It's pointing right down there towards the feeder the whole evening. She could lean right up on it, kind of sit up on the edge of her chair, shoot right there. I mean, it was perfect. Yeah. And so, hunting even off the ground, like you said, sitting down, it works great. I was not expecting that. I cannot think of the name. I've got this other little tripod deal. I'm trying to think who makes it. Caldwell makes it. Yeah. And it's basically this rest that goes on the front, like on the fore end and on the buttstock, and it cradles the rifle. You set it in there. I've used that in the past with her. Yeah. And it's real awkward. Don't get me wrong, it worked. It's a lot less expensive than this, but it was not near as good as this because it's not steady. It's not near as solid. And again, a lot less money. It serves a purpose. Yeah. But I was blown away when we locked this thing in at how well it worked because, like you said, this is not something that sitting down in a pop-up blind deer hunting, this had never crossed my mind. It was kind of improvised, and I was like, well, shoot, that worked well.
So if you are a hog hunter that drives around in a mule or drives around in a truck and you stay close to the truck and you call hogs or you scan and move on to the next spot without a lot of walking, you're going to love them. Who else is going to love it? If I was a dedicated 100% coyote hunter and that's all I did,
you have to own one.
You have to have them. I would not do anything else without having those coyote, especially coyote hunting. It just makes it, again, locking your rifle in. And a lot of times, if you're doing coyote hunting with hand calls or mouth calls or whatever, I mean, you need your hands to do that kind of stuff. And so to be able to lock it in there, whether you're sitting, like some coyote hunters, if they're kind of hiding in a spot and they're sitting down, you can drop those things down low. If you're standing up, you can raise them up high. But coyote hunters, this is something, and you see it. I mean, you see it on social media. You see it on the YouTube videos. Sam from Thermal Feed, who came down to hunt with me a couple weekends ago, big-time coyote hunter in Iowa, he had a set of these things. I mean, if you are a coyote hunter and you're pretty serious about your craft or your trade, most of the people that you see out doing it are using the Kopfjäger grip with either the carbon fiber or the slick stick tripod.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing: it's not just the tiring, because if you're using a regular rest like trigger sticks or something we do, or any of the bipods or tripods, that they're good for walking around, and we're going to get into that. But when you're on a set, and you're standing there and you're spinning around and you're looking, you do whatever, you're holding that the buttstock of that thing the whole time. Yeah. And that may not seem heavy, but eventually it gets heavy and it gets tiring. But the nice thing about this is you lock the rifle in, you can step back, you can walk backwards, you can turn the thing, and I'm a big proponent of this. If you're going to walk forward, don't have it pointing at you. Turn the thing over to the left, away, walk out there, go set your call up. If the call falls over, the decoy does, whatever it is, you can walk out there, come right back. Your rifle is still right where it's supposed to be. You spin it back around forward, and you're good to go. So I don't know. I really don't know how you could hunt coyotes, all the time
yeah.
and be serious about it and not own one. I mean, and that sounds like the biggest sales pitch in the world, but it's once you use this and you can walk away from your rifle and you come back and it's still hanging there right where you left it, ready to shoot. It's pretty amazing.
Well, you see some videos online or even on some of the big hunting channels where coyote hunters are out by themselves and they've got their rifle rested in their lap or they've got it leaned up against something and they're scanning with binoculars, because like I said, like it's like a thermal binocular. You can scan faster, cover more ground with binoculars or a thermal binocular rather than just using your rifle scope. So they're setting their rifle to the side. If a coyote runs in, the last thing you want to do is be making a bunch of movement and, to pick up that rifle, put it up on the rest, can distract and also can flag a coyote and check them up. But with the Kopfjäger grip, you lock it in there. It's ready to go. It's, it's pointed straight ahead. You're scanning with your binoculars during the day for coyotes. All you got to do is throw them down real quick, lean forward, you're on the rifle. So it is for that and for, hunting close to your truck for hogs or to your Ranger or a mule, whatever you're driving in. If you're just popping out and taking a shot, locking it in or calling, something like that. It is almost, I hate to say it, but it's almost a must-have. And like I said, if I was a 100% dedicated coyote hunter, to me, it would be worth the money, no doubt, hands down for it.
Okay, so that means we've got to go to somewhere else. Folks, you may think that we just gave you all a 10-minute infomercial, but there's one thing that nobody can say about Hans and I, and it's that, we do no special favors and we tell it like it is and what we think. And so there is a negative to these things. And we've been very vocal about this in the past. I've had a lot of people call me about tripod setups in the past. And, I've told them the truth and we're fixing to tell it again. So let's tell them where this doesn't work as well.
So you and I have been seeing people post pictures of the Kopfjäger grips and slick sticks for a long time. I mean, and we were probably a little bit late on the scene as compared to some of the people that were out there using them. And I'm not going to say that we were drug in kicking and screaming, but
I was.
Yeah. But we've talked about what it's great for and the applications that it's good for, it's really good in. But in the applications where it's not good, it's really bad. And that's going to be, if you are like what I do a lot, what Jason does, a lot of hog hunters out there, if you are spotting and stalking, anything further than 50 yards, it is a challenge. Because I'm going to say, first of all, the legs on these sticks are telescope legs. As compared to the Primos, you push the button and the legs just drop down by themselves. So the telescope legs, it's just like any other tripod. It's got the little clip. You got to pull out one section, do the clip, pull out another section. So a lot of people, you'll see videos, they've already got the legs completely unfolded and they're carrying them sideways out to where they're going to shoot.
Right, because you cannot. Let me say quickly, he talked about the clips on the carbon fiber. You twist. There's a little like rubber grip at each joint. You twist, and then you can pull the leg out, and then you twist to tighten it. You cannot stalk up on something and get out there and then start messing around trying to raise and lower. You will. Just forget it. You might as well take your slingshot with some BBs out there because you are not going to kill a hog that way.
Yeah, you've got to unfold those things or pull them out before you start your stalk. Now, they're heavy. You carry another 8 to 9, 10 pounds with you.
Yeah, you're looking at it.
It is, there's
and you're still carrying your rifle. And if you lock your rifle into it, you're carrying.
I take a backpack too that's got all my gear in it when I stalk. I know we got I've seen some of the pictures that some of these studs that listen to the show send in, and there's some guys that got some muscles, but I tell you what, you carry an extra 10 pounds all night long and you start to feel it. It's heavy compared to.
Well, it's not even just 10 pounds. It's 10 pounds that you're stalking with, that the legs are extended out 4 foot in 3 different directions. It's it's awkward.
And if you are trying to stalk a hog and you've got to go anything taller than about your knees, it is a challenge because you're hitting those legs. If you're in tall brush, if you're in tall grass, and you're carrying those sticks sideways, you're going to be fighting that dang thing all the way there. So if you're going to have to walk, a lot of times, Jason, you know, and you do it too, you know, we'll see a hog 200 or 300, 400, 500 yards away.
Sure.
And we take off walking. Man, if you're in anything higher grass than your knees and you have to fight that for 500 yards, forget about it.
I would, and look, we're not trying to be mean to what these things are. It's just where they're not useful. I mean, you don't. I'm not going to take a Thermion XM50 5.5 power and go in the woods and try to shoot hogs at 15 yards. It's not what that tool is made for. Right. It doesn't work right for that. I mean, so this is what we're telling you is we're trying to save you some grief and tell you what it will do and what it won't do, what it's not designed to do. It's not designed to take off and hike with. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, we're definitely not being mean. We're being honest because we've used them. We've tried them. I've used my set now for, several months now. And I've taken it out on long hikes. I've tested it. I've come back with the arms and shoulders burning because I'm carrying all this stuff. But, that's where if you're having to walk long distances, if you're stalking hogs, or if you're even – going to hunt coyotes, but you've got to walk, a half a mile to get to your stands. You probably want to find a good way to tie that thing to your backpack or something, because it's difficult. And like I said, anything in tall grass or brush, since you have to walk with those legs fully extended, you're going to hit that on every branch, every bush. And if you're trying to carry it that way, it's difficult. So really, I mean, that's the only negative. That's the only negative is if your hunting style is doing a lot of walking in tight brush, tight cover, long distances, it's probably not going to be as beneficial to you as it would be, like we said, coyote hunters that are making stands and hopping in the truck and going to the next spot.
Yeah, and I kind of want to give my summary here of my opinion of what you should and shouldn't do and what you should buy if you're looking for something. Personally, for most people, if you're interested in this, I think that the grip is the way to go. I think that the rail is fine. If you're just going to use it with an AR-15, you don't really want to use it for, all your rifles or what have you, then I think that the rail mount is quick and easy, and it's really a quick way to attach it and detach it. So that works fine. It does, when you put this, the grip on your rifle, it does take a little bit to twist that thing down and make sure it's good and tight. So, it's not quite as quick as using the rail mount. But generally speaking, I think the average guy is going to buy the grip. And so, again, we're looking at $399 for the metal tripod and the grip or the rail mount. And then you're looking at $599 for the carbon fiber and either one of the mounts. I'm going to tell you, and if this is your first time listening to this show, you think, well, this guy's just a salesman. Go back and listen to the other 77 episodes and see how I'm not, and I'm trying to talk people out of spending money. But if I was going to buy one of these and I was going to spend the money on it, I would hold my $399. And I would dig around in the cushions in my truck and in my couch, and I would wait until I got the extra $200, and I would buy the carbon fiber. Now, there is one exception to that. If you're the guy who rides around in the Ranger or the truck, and you get out and you walk 20, 30, 40, 50 yards, and you set up and you're there for a while, maybe calling coyotes or hogs, or deer hunting or whatever, that's fine. But if you're going to do any walking, if you're going to walk 100, 200 yards to that set, if you're going to carry this thing, to your pop-up blind for deer hunting, if you're going to be carrying it around in your hand very much, it's absolutely worth the extra $200 to get the carbon fiber. Because I want to go back to this weight real quick. If you're talking about the grip and the metal tripod, you're talking about 8.5 pounds versus, where is it? 5 pounds 15, almost 6 pounds. So you're saving 2.5 pounds, and you go, what is 2.5 pounds? It's a bunch when you're walking around. It is a very, very big difference. And so to me, I know it's a lot of money, but I would try to go with the carbon fiber. But again, if you say, hey, I'm not going to walk that much and I really can't justify $600, you can still get all the exact same benefits out of the metal with the either one of the rail or the grip mount.
So you heard it here first. Jason gave me the ones to test that he's suggesting that you buy the opposite ones of the ones that he gave me. So he got the carbon fibers, but I got the metal ones that weigh.
I'm a smaller guy. I weigh a lot less than you. I'm shorter than you.
It is like carrying another rifle when you are carrying those things. But like I said, for the applications that it's good for, it is fantastic. And I do like having them. It's nice to have both. I've got my Primos and I've got those.
I was just about to say, you need to own both. Yeah. I mean, unless you're just strictly coyote hunting and not doing any kind of stalking or long walk, you need to own a regular set of and look, folks, we don't sell the trigger sticks. We
have sold a lot of them, but
we've sold a lot of them for Primos, but we can't buy them any cheaper than you can, and we don't sell them. And I hope one day maybe that'll change. But we've sold a bunch of them for Primos. I can tell you that.
I did forget another good application for the Kopfjäger, and it's so obvious, and I can't believe that we didn't talk about it. Pictures.
Oh, well, that's all they're good for anyway. It's just pictures, right?
If you want to take a picture of a recent hog killed, coyote killed, deer killed, bear killed, whatever you're hunting, you set up, for the camera, you set up the Kopfjäger with your rifle set in it, and looks great, man. It looks great in pictures. So, I mean, that's important.
Getting brownie points on Facebook and Instagram it helps you in life. So
everybody's trying to hit influencer status.
That's exactly right. So well, folks, listen. If you're interested in these any of these units, feel free to call me if you've got questions. You can talk to Hans or I. You can always reach us at 877-350-1818. And that's the number at Outdoor Legacy. You can also find us at outdoorlegacygear.com. We do have these, all the different combinations of these, Reaper grips and tripods in stock. They should be all in stock when this show airs. If for some reason it's not, and you see one that you want, give me a holler and I'll get your name on one, because if they're not there, we're going to be having them within a day or two. So, a lot of people ask, I talk to a lot of guys on the phone every day, and most everybody listens to the podcast, and we're so thankful for that. But some of the guys say, man, keep making those episodes. I look forward to it every Thursday. And what I'd say is that we want to do it. We enjoy doing this, but if you want to support us, when you get ready to make a purchase, come check us out at Outdoor Legacy. I mean, we're not asking you to buy something if you're not looking for it, but when it comes time to make the purchase, we'd love to have your business, and that's the way to support us and the way to keep this show coming. And so we really do appreciate it. Again, you can find us at that phone number, outdoorlegacygear.com. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Outdoor Legacy Gear.
Yeah, and you can find all of my stuff on YouTube at Hans ETX. Also on Instagram, Hans ETX, and I also have a blog. A lot of people don't know about it, but I do update it every time I put out a video. It's hansetx.com, so y'all go check that out. Thank y'all for joining us again. This has been episode 78 of the Late Night Vision Show. We've been talking about the Kopfjäger grips with the slick sticks and the carbon fiber sticks. If you have any questions, give us a shout, leave us a comment, thumbs up on YouTube, and give us a high ranking on iTunes, so my wife will quit reminding me to tell everybody to do it. That would make my life so much easier. So I appreciate that, and
if you can remember to take the trash out.
We'll get into this because my wife, she wants to do a show, and she said it's the Wives of Hunters Pet Peeves, and she listed all of these pet peeves that she has in mind. and she wants me to share
I
them
don't
with
think
everybody.
they need to be back in front of the microphone.
I told
scares
her
me.
I told her Jason would not go for that at all. So, but thank y'all for joining us. Stay safe in the fields. Keep making them pancakes. We'll see you next week for episode 79.